Some freaking sanitation here. Yeah, even better. That'll probably be here next time you're here too. Welcome everybody this week for the N.Idaho Fantasy Football League News, your online source for all your fantasy football news needs. And this is a special Sunday taping edition, right in the middle of week 10. But it's the only time we could get Dane Wilson, the Manwhore, in here. Dane, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And a pleasure for everybody out there. Let me start off by saying we amassed a big 17-team league. 17 different owners out there, 17 different personalities. And we do, there's all the news article. 17 teams.
So, who's on top?
Well, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I know you're dying.
17.
You're dying to chop it at the bit to talk about that a little bit. We've amassed a 17-team league, different personalities. And, you know, with all the news articles that I write, the commissioner's post, the smack talk, and the YouTube videos, I would have to say that you are the most talked about person out there. What?
It's expected.
Well, why though? Why? What gravitates everything to you? Now I know you're on top right now.
It's an intangible. It's it's hard to point your finger at, but it's a personality. It's just this aura that you know, kind of comes off of a person. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the S-man. It's a sense of confidence people are attracted to. You can't control it. I think Kramer calls it the Kavorka.
I see.
With the ladies.
And you have that with the ladies as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good looking.
As you know.
What does that mean?
Some of the girls, you know.
All these rumors that there's no girl that we've had that I've. Well, we probably shouldn't get into this. It's probably best that we don't get into this.
My kids might be watching. I like to say hello to my children. Blake and Paige.
13-3.
Yeah.
17 teams.
Yep.
You've got the best record.
Yep. Well. Yeah. 15-3 in a couple of hours.
And like I said, right now you are up pretty big in a couple games. Like I said, this is a Sunday taping, so we're right in the middle of the Sunday games. But you're up 61-7 on the Pussycats. You're up 61-13 on the Norm Buds. Right now you've got a 3-game lead in your division with 9 or 10 games to go, depending on what team you are out there.
Correct.
Pussycats are in second place, 3 games back at 10-6. This is probably the last stand, possibly, for a divisional foe against you. If you can beat up on the Pussycats, the third place Spades, who are, Robbie was saying, I'm going to paraphrase what he said, he's getting it in the ass this week.
He's ass fucked, yeah.
Yeah. He's losing as well right now.
There's a strategic move, him leaving Kellen Winslow on the bench.
Well, he said he didn't like, and I talked to Robbie about this, he said he didn't like Kellen Winslow's attitude. And when you're a disgruntled player, how are you going to perform? And he loves Bo Scapey, and I think that's his pronouncing, or Scaffy. Scapey or Scaffy. Yeah. He loves Bo Scapey. So
and Bo's having a good game, so it may be a wash.
But
it's maybe a little disturbing at how much enjoyment I get out of my competition making wrong choices, leaving people on the bench. I mean, I laugh to myself at times,
oh, right.
And I just can't wait to get on the board.
So, secrets to success so far: 13-3. You're on top. Let us in the mind, if you can let us in your mind a little bit. I know it's kind of an early taping and you're still waking up.
Well, I mean, let's just start with the draft. I wasn't at the draft. I don't need to be at the draft.
Well, you were
enjoyed to be at the draft just for the camaraderie of it all. I kept 2 players, which I think I was mocked for.
Tony Gonzalez, you kept.
Tony Gonzalez, I was mocked for. Top 5 tight end, currently, today, right now.
Were you trying to trade him to
Sure.
Pitch Magnet?
You bet. Well, I have Tony Scheffler.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get some value. You bet.
Bringing out the question. Sure.
So, but I was mocked a little bit for keeping him in a keeper league that, you know, for the rest of the 16 opponents of mine. In the league we're in, you are required to start a tight end. You must start one. And there aren't that many. You know, there are some teams that share running backs. But most of the time, you've got one major tight end.
Gotcha.
It's going to get the majority of the looks. Not too many Tony Gonzalez is out there. I'm going to keep him.
Okay.
I'm going to hold on to him. And Westbrook, how could you not keep that guy?
No, Westbrook's a no-brainer.
But I thought I was, you know, I was mocked a little bit for not being here for that. I did pick Cutler, even though I wasn't here. I said I must have Cutler.
Yep, I do remember.
It's probably the best thing I could have done. Cutler has been, and Westbrook, even though he's been hurt a little bit. So it's about looking at matchups every week. I'll drop a player, I'll pick up a player, I'll drop a defense, look at my Houston pickup and my Houston drop. I got big points. I also think a key, believe it or not, is your kicker, Matt Prater.
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 Okay.
In the long run, And this is where it matters. These last 6-7 weeks, this is where it's going to come.
You could have it all wrapped up by then, though.
So, I just made a trade. I just traded away Matt Ryan to injured reserves, which I think is a good trade. And I got Lee Evans.
Yep.
And I only did that, well, one, for my bye week. Got a bye week this week. I needed a wide receiver. But also, the reason I wanted Lee Evans is the Buffalo Bills are going to be fighting for a playoff spot coming down the stretch.
Good point.
And the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season, the Buffalo Bills play horrendous defense.
Gotcha.
Against, the teams they're playing, horrible pass defense.
Gotcha.
So I analyzed.
So you looked that far ahead.
I looked that far ahead.
Wow. That's a little lesson for some of you who look week to week.
Yeah,
I mean, some of these people are only looking week to week.
I'm planning my roster for the first week of the playoffs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who am I starting? Who are they going to be playing against?
I didn't know that.
Set myself up for success.
That's wow.
That's how it goes.
These are good Dr. Peppers we're pounding down here today, aren't we?
Yeah. And I'd like to bring up one other point. You know,
Sure.
You mentioned how difficult it is for me to get here. And we got to make up a special day. Dane's in town. Put him on camera.
Oh, of course. Everyone loves Special Dane Day, by the way.
But I believe a couple weeks ago I saw whatever we want to call this edition, the Johnny Hunt edition, the Fantasy League edition, went on the road to another player's home.
Well, we stopped by Eric
And-
Moshan's.
Why couldn't we stop at my place?
Well, Eric had just done his back patio. I don't know if you noticed that. It was a nice setting.
I think all I saw were some dogs humping.
Oh, you noticed that.
And I think that's about all I saw. Some patio furniture.
I thought it was a nice outdoor setting for once. I'm like, Eric, why don't we utilize this outdoor space that you have? And Eric likes to show off his surroundings and stuff. So I thought it was a very nice.
So anyway, that's the. If I could give anybody advice, that's it.
For the last couple of years, you've led the league in ad drops. Right now, I think you're second or third place. A-Dogs actually lead the league in ad drops this year, believe it or not. They've got like 25 amassed. And I know you look down the road. I know you look week to week, but I'm just going to name you some names here of some people that used to be on your roster.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to go through them all, and then we can comment a little bit. Edgerton James, Ray Rice, Kevin Walter, who just scored a 60-yard touchdown pass, Joey Galloway, Matt Jones twice.
Yep.
Chris Chambers, who we have talked about, Daniel Graham, Deuce McAllister, Stephen Breston. And most of these guys have found their way on other rosters.
Yep. So can I comment?
Yeah.
I'd like to go over a few.
Okay. I just want to know what the strategy is.
Okay, so, well, I'll go over...
Now, I did this last week, and I got criticized on the message board for just grabbing players and...
Yes, the difference. Let me tell you the difference.
Okay, that's what I'd like to know.
The difference is you're chasing performance. So, the guy has a great one-week performance, Peyton Hillis, for example. Just the most recent, just because it's fresh in our minds, Peyton Hillis. Great performance, week 9. It's the only time we've ever heard of this guy. No one knows who he is. He has a great week 9 game. Johnny's picking him up on Tuesday.
He does a lot for the Denver community,
does,
too.
sure.
I don't know if you knew that. But with the
So
kids.
what I'm looking at, though, is, so I'll look at Daniel Graham. Tony Gonzalez is on a bye. Tony Scheffler's hurt. So I've got no tight ends. I'm struggling. What do? I pick up a starting tight end. And if you look, just the 1 week I got him, he performed, scored a touchdown for me.
Well, I think he just scored a touchdown last week, too. And like Kevin Walter just scored a touchdown today. He had 2 touchdowns the day you dropped him. You dropped Ray Rice, and he had 150 yards the next week for the Divas.
Yep.
I'm just...
One time shot. So I'll tell you, Edgerton James I just dropped because he's no longer starter. I've got Tim Hightower now who's starting for the...
A-Dogs have Edgerton James right now.
He'll never use him.
A-Dogs won't?
Well,
okay.
He will not.
Maybe week 12 when he plays you.
Maybe. I'd encourage that.
Okay.
Let's see. Steve Breston. That's another, a great pickup. As soon as Anquan Bolden got hurt, I jumped on that and got him, and I rode him through Anquan Bolden's injury, and he produced great. And he's still a good wide receiver 3, but I didn't have room for him on my roster. The entire time, it's a bowl. It's like you're making cookies, and you got to add the right ingredients.
Gotcha.
So I finally got there now. So if you look at my roster, Jay Cutler, Tim Hightower, Brian Westbrook, Lee Evans, Santana Moss, Tony Gonzalez or Tony Scheffler. Almost all of my guys are at least top 10, if not top 5. Even my kicker, Prater, are all in the top 10 of their respective positions. Every single offensive player.
This could make you a very tough team to